Okay, well, first I want to thank the grace of heaven and the holy teachers and also the transmitters and lecturers for attending this class. Basically, this is the start of our XinMin or new class member or new member class. Okay, it's basically in the Chinese is considered, it's called XinMin, and then we just interpret that as the new member class. Okay, so first of all, I like to just say that only registered class members will be attending this class. So therefore, we already have a separate line group that's used for the new class members. Now, for those who don't use Zoom, maybe we should have, line group, sorry. For those who do not use Line, which is, I don't know, something exchange or information, chat exchange, I guess you'll call it that. Basically, we will try to find a different method to try to, provide the new members to get into this line group, because after all, the line group requires a meeting ID and a password. Okay. So, okay, in Zoom. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It is in Zoom. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So, okay. So the line group does not actually need a password or anything like that. All right. So to start out, first of all, there's basically four points that I want to make. One is that, yeah, the person must be at least 16 years old. Okay. So therefore, I think everyone sort of like meets that requirement. Number two is the fact that everyone must have received the Tao. Okay. And so also, I think that is also, everyone already has received the Tao. Okay. And then now however, items number 3 and 4 will first be the fact that one must complete at least 66% of the attendance. Okay, so that means the fact that you have to try to go online and attend the class. Okay, and the attendance will be, eventually will be taken, and now I have that separate on below there. Okay, and then also there are requirements that will take certain tests. Okay, and basically that test can be like eventually, I guess there's some for the okay. Basically, there's some requirements of like knowledge. In terms of knowledge about certain, I guess we say classes, and also certain procedures, or what we call bowing or katoing in terms of the exercise, that type of exercise. So anyway, but of course, none of these tests or regulation requirements are that that difficult. So, everyone should be able to pass those tests anyway. Okay, so in order for, the person to actually graduate, first of all, they have to meet those 4 requirements. And then also this way that they also must pass the tests or requirements. And just to let you know, the fact that there are a total of 5 levels of in this 5-year curriculum. Okay, and basically once one has graduated one level, then you can now attend the second level of class. Okay, so basically just goes on from there. Okay, for the 5 levels. Okay, now briefly, I just want to let you know that, okay, there are, I guess you could say, benefits for being a class member. Okay, first, of course, number 1 would be like be able to continue on the path of learning and studying the Tao, and also progressing in the Tao cultivation. Okay, I guess that's pretty self explanatory. Okay, and then number 2 is be able to learn to fulfill one's own vows. Okay, and maybe we'll probably learn more about that also in those classes. Okay, but the fact is that, of course, many listening to these classes, and also some of them have vows that they need to sort of like fulfill, I guess. That's one way to look at it. Because after all, you already have received the Tao. And of course, just receiving the Tao also has certain requirements, if you will, and vows, okay, that you made when you received the Tao, okay. But anyway, then the last part is really the fact that you have the benefits of one's own ancestors can also attend the class. Now that's very special because of the fact that normally when we have like normal classes and all that stuff, okay, it's different it's different in the sense fact that when you come to a Dharma class, there's a Dharma class that we sometimes have every 2 or more times of in a year. But anyway, so that when the Holy Teacher had mentioned the fact that when you come to a Dharma class, all your ancestors can also attend that class. Okay, so in this case, this sort of like has the same benefit of attending these classes, okay, because they're like a Dharma class, but the fact that it takes 5 years or has 5 levels, okay, so it's more drawn out, let's put it that way. Okay, all right, so now of course let's see. Okay, so just to know the fact that, yeah, anytime you attend the class, okay, then you have the ability to have your own ancestors also attend the class to learn about the Tao. Okay, and now for other temples, they are welcome to also register, okay, and attend the class. But of course, for other temples, they have their own transmitters. Okay, so they need to sort of like ask their own transmitters, if you will, whether our classes and tests satisfy their requirements for the class. Their own requirement, the transmitter's own requirements for the class. Okay, but of course, I don't know if not too many members have their own English class or something like that. But fact is that, yeah, their transmitters should really decide whether, they want the members to attend this class. But we definitely encourage them to do that anyway. Okay, so the last thing I want to just discuss is the fact that all these classes has audio recordings. Okay, for each class presentation and also any materials that is presented in the class. Okay, so therefore these audio recordings can be re-listened or listened again, or as many times you want, and so therefore at least you have a digital record of these recordings. Okay, all right, so is there any questions about it and all that? Anything in terms of our the attendance requirement, the requirement to pass tests? Anyone? Okay, all right. If not, then of course I will continue on, basically just to have a few words about this class. We encourage everyone to register for the reasons and benefits listed above. Okay, even if they do not register to be a class member, but just listen or watch to recordings, because remember, as I mentioned, that we do have recordings. Okay, however, they will not receive the benefits. Okay, all the benefits, especially specifically the benefit of the fact that their ancestors can also attend the class. Okay, so therefore, when you listen or watch the recordings, only basically you're doing it just for yourself, so to speak. Okay, and so therefore you derive the benefits of your ancestors to be able to attend that class. Okay, and then however, for some people, maybe it's possible that they maybe just want to listen and watch the recordings and all that stuff. Okay, then that means that if they decide to later on become a speaker or a lecturer, unfortunately, they will still have to complete all the requirements of the 5-year curriculum, starting with the new member class. Okay, so basically you have to start all over again. Okay, and I guess that's sort of like a roundabout way of saying the fact that, yeah, if you just do the recordings, yeah, you're not gonna ever become a speaker or a lecturer or whatever, because you still have to redo the 5-year curriculum. Okay, so a note about the class. First, please listen attentively with each class. And basically that's the same rule that's applied in the Dharma class, same thing. Okay. Of course, the attendee must be on time, because after all, just as a Dharma class is class is being just like when you come to a Dharma class, yes, you're expected to try to be there for 2 days, for the classes. So therefore, of course, we have more than 2 days of class. Okay, actually, later on, I mentioned that we have scheduled for 40 classes per year. But anyway, so the attendee must definitely be on time. Okay. Late attendees hopefully will also will be marked as non-attending or miss attendance. Okay, so basically, of course, we try not to be late, on class to do the classes. So therefore, we sort of like have attendance for the will be recorded, and therefore people that are 10 minutes late? Is it 10 minutes? 10 minutes that are late, then yeah, okay. If you miss more than 10, or if you go below, above 10 minutes, then it's marked as misattendance. Okay, and therefore, or non-attending, whatever, and then therefore, it will require you to try to listen and watch the recording. Okay, now, however, when you watch and listen to the recording, because if you missed the class, missed the attendance, or was marked as non-attending, then that means the fact that you should watch and listen to the recording in a very specific time. Okay, it's about a week. Okay, normally it's about a week, let's put it that way, between our classes, so that this way it does not affect any testing. And because the reason why we do that is only because of the fact that when we actually do the testing comes in very specific, can be carried out in will be carried out in very specific specific periods of time. Okay, so therefore testing will, time will vary based on the class material, of course. Okay, so therefore that we sort of like do not have an idea of when we do the testing. Okay, because originally, I think last year or something like that, when we did the classes and the recordings, we sometimes just do the testing at the end of the year. Okay, and we feel that is not very good for in terms of like time, okay, time spent, so to speak, in terms of testing. So, and because after all, sometimes when people do the testing, they get the idea that, oh, okay, I can attend the classes, but still attend the classes, meaning the fact that you missed the attendance or become a non-attending, and you just listen or watch the recordings, because after all, we have recordings of each class. And so therefore they will say, okay, well, if I can do all the recordings, complete all the recordings, in like 2 or 3 weeks, then that means the fact that, okay, then I can do all the testing and all the tests, whatever, and hopefully try to, pass all of them. Okay, well, that's it's like saying that, okay, well, for 3 weeks or so that I watch the recordings, okay, and then and of course, if you can, finish all the tests and all that stuff, then I can just graduate. And I don't have to listen to all this, 40 classes a year, right? Well, that depends upon how you sort of like regard how valuable you are attending these classes, because you're trying to learn, okay, about the Tao. And the whole idea is the fact that that when holy teachers specify the curriculum, so to speak, okay, 5-year curriculum, okay, he wants us to be able to have a progressive learning of the Tao. Okay, so therefore, the whole idea is the fact that not only you learn about the Tao, you also begin to practice it, okay, at the same time. And so therefore, when it basically is dragged out for like 40 classes per year, then it allows you to be able to learn about the Tao, reflect upon what you learned, and then practice on what you have learned. So this way allows you to have some time to be able to change your destiny. As the holy teacher has said, that when you have a thought, it creates action, which basically creates character, which creates eventual destiny. Okay, I mean, I'm just paraphrasing it because I'm cutting it short. I sort of like I don't have that much time. Okay, so anyway, so important is the fact that, okay, yeah, okay, that's true. Okay, and then about the test and all that stuff, it's only for a few things. I mean, like I said, the tests for the first year class or the new member class is really not that, it's pretty easy. Let's put it that way. Okay, it's only for a few things and knowledge that you pick up from those classes. Okay, so a very good example, for example, is the fact that one person should learn how to do the arrival and departure vows. Okay, which is, for people who had also received the Tao and all that stuff and had attended the Dharma class, most of them may know it already. So therefore, it's kind of very easy. And like I said, that's the only bowing propriety requirement that you need for to pass the test. Now, we have different ways of which we can, I guess, provide evidence the fact that, you know about it and all that stuff. Okay, so and I'll discuss that later on. Okay, if I have time. Okay. Anyway, so like I said, we happen to after we test the material or knowledge about your Tao for for it's like I said, very, very, very easy things. Okay, then essentially you have the ability to try to graduate from this class level. Okay, and of course, besides these passing of the test and all that stuff, sometimes depending on which level, whatever, sometimes it requires a transmitter or speaker, lecturers to also ask about, I guess, sometimes your character, let's put it that way, or your cultivation effort, let's put it that way. Okay, cultivation effort. Okay, but anyway, so important thing is the fact that, yeah, we schedule for 40 classes per year. And so therefore, normally we have like 40 weeks of classes, so to speak. Okay, and it's once a week. And so therefore, the testing itself, however, will basically be done, I don't know, maybe 4-5 times a year. Okay, and so therefore we're trying to group the materials into one, several weeks of classes, and then do the testing, and then we do another grouping of classes, that has material relevant to the second test and all that stuff, and we do it again, etc. Okay, so anyway, I guess that is about it. So are there any questions or whatever about these classes and testing and attendance, etc.? Okay, if not, then maybe we can continue on and do the topic of the lecture. Okay, so.
Transmitter Ray?
Yes, hello, yes.
I just want to add a little comment.
Sure.
End of year, the tests will show people how to take the vow to come to the temple and leaving the temple. We'll give you example, give you all the information. So don't worry about the tests. Very simple, okay? In the heaven, they do the same vows. So we need to know when we are still around in the world, in this universe. Second thing, the other test is very simple. We'll provide all the information. We'll also review it in the classes. So you will know how to prepare that, how to remember that. So don't worry about the tests, okay? Just help everybody to learn more. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you, Transmarilyn. So, okay, again, okay, is there any there's no questions, right? Okay. So, all right. So therefore, I will basically continue on to the lecture if you want. Okay. Okay. Now, of course, when I try to do the lecture, basically, I'm not. I guess I didn't want to sort of like do a Dharma class lecture. Okay. Basically, it means this particular topic is the true meaning of life topic. And basically it is one of the Dharma class topics. Now, normally when one has received the Tao already, and then therefore eventually may have or have some knowledge about the Tao, then they basically go to the Dharma class. And from the first topic of the Dharma class, so to speak, is what is called the true meaning of life. But I want to deviate that a little from that, only because of the fact that I want to not delve completely into the true meaning of life, but rather to find at least some aspects of this topic to be able to relate to you about, how why it's very meaningful to truly learn about the Tao itself. Okay, and so therefore, so I'll begin by the fact that, using one of the slides from the true meaning of life, basically it says the true meaning of life is to understand his or her mission and to make human life more valuable and meaningful. So basically, yeah, that's basically the whole idea. The fact that, yes, you want to definitely try to understand your life, okay? And then therefore, hopefully to also understand what kind of mission you have in life. And then this way, at least your life will become more meaningful, let's put it that way. All right. And then, so therefore, what is really, I guess the true meaning of, I guess people, a lot of people say that, okay, yeah, the human beings are the highest physical form of spiritual life in the world. Okay, because after all, humans can think, create, do a lot of things. Humans are also, according to the Tao, humans are also the bridge between heaven and earth, the embodiment of the three mediums. Okay, the three mediums is essentially the medium of heaven, earth, and humans. Okay, mankind. All right. So therefore, that's why humans are the bridge between heaven and earth. Okay, and basically, excuse me, the three. I'm going to just I mentioned the three mediums, but basically, it's not really should be discussed in this class because of the fact that they go into sort of like very specific meaning about the mediums. Okay, and then but anyway, so the whole idea is the fact that yes, humans can think and create. That's true. Not like animals, okay? And so therefore, humans have the ability to be able to create, of course, and then to think in the sense that about, I guess, the meaning of life. Let's put it that way. Okay, is one example. So therefore, humans will also be able to reflect upon yourself to find out whether there is meaning in life. Okay, all right, so let's see. Okay, and then I'm going to skip about all these things about that the different what should we call it, the different abilities in life and all that stuff, but sorry, okay. Oh, sorry, this one. Okay, so therefore now, basically, I want to introduce a little bit to you about what Sakyamuni Buddha talks about life, and also basically what he did, okay, in his teachings and all that stuff. First of all, he understood the fact that yes, there is something called reality and spirituality. Let's put it that way. Okay, and basically, he gave up his princehood, I guess if you say, life in general, or princely life, to see and home to really seek the ultimate truth. So basically, what is the ultimate truth? It's the truth of the fact that yes, he wanted to find out, if you will, in part, the true meaning of life. Why, of course, there's suffering in life. Why is there a way to get out of it? And so therefore find the ultimate truth about what life means. Okay, and basically he searched a lot of enlightened masters and all that stuff, and he tried to relieve the particular question about the suffering of reincarnation, etc. Okay, and basically he brought that out and essentially taught to everyone about why are there degrees of suffering and why you can be reincarnated, etc. Plus also he taught about how one can seek this ultimate truth to be able to escape the sufferings of reincarnation. Okay, just like the second is like through again following through cultivation, he found the Buddha nature and was enlightened. He was transcended the cycle of life and death and attained brotherhood. Okay, well, what he did was what he thought or what he taught later on was the fact that we all have what is called a Buddha nature. Okay, basically we have a class about it's called the Buddha nature class, I believe we call that, and basically it allows us to be able to realize our own self, if you will, ourself. Okay, and therefore hopefully we will be able to apply this nature that we have within within ourselves, okay, very much like our consciousness, and be able to direct direct oneself in one's life. Okay, and then again, that's basically talking about the Buddha nature, which is really a topic in itself. So therefore, like I said, I'm only doing it briefly. So therefore, basically, it just says the fact that he discovered this Buddha nature that he had, and so therefore he then taught his the teachings of the his teachings to his disciples about this, and therefore he eventually transcended the cycle of life and death because of the fact that he finally had attained Buddhahood. Okay, and basically it was just the practice of his Buddha nature itself, so to speak. Okay, and then of course the second person that's listed in the slide is Guanyin, the lady Bodhisattva. Okay, and basically like herself, like the Buddha himself, he basically also gave up a lot the luxuries of a palace life, and then he suffered a lot of humiliation and hardships in order to attain the true Tao, or the ultimate Tao, so to speak. And like her, basically, he also I would say he suffered a lot, number one, but also he had a lot of hardships, but he was finally able to also become a Buddha. Okay, so, and of course, people worship her because of the fact that when they face difficulties and disasters, she goes to save them. And basically she's well known for that, only because of the fact that when people say pray to her, okay, and basically they find some, I don't want to say miracles, but the fact that it could be miracles, but they found or experienced something that basically allowed them to be able to be relieved of some of this suffering. Okay, and then of course let's see. Oh wow, I'm really short on time, but okay, so therefore the whole idea of this is really for us to really look at ourselves, look at our own life, to see, like unlike the Buddha and the Bodhisattva, they basically gave up a lot to sort of like achieve a lot, so to speak. Okay, and so therefore we should then reflect upon ourselves in terms of, well, should we listen to attend or listen to these classes and all that stuff, or should we not? Because after all, life has a lot of distractions, let's put it that way. Okay, so therefore we should sort of like ask ourselves about the idea of the fact that whether we really want to pursue that which can be meaningful for our lives, or the different pursuits of life, let's put it that way. All right, okay, so basically when we talk about like becoming a Buddha and all that stuff, so like Buddha and Guanyin, basically they were born in life like as an ordinary person. Okay, of course their status in life is a little bit different. Of course, the Buddha was a prince, and Guanyin was I guess also a princess, equivalent to a princess. Okay, and so therefore they had a lot of, I guess you could say, not luxuries, but the fact that very everything that I guess one would need, let's put it that way, to have a very luxurious life, or what you might call it, a very uneventful life, let's put it that way. Okay, but eventually, however, they had to pass away. Okay, and fortunately both of them attained Buddhahood. So therefore, in that case, in that sense, basically life and death basically becomes very important. And for us, the regular people, okay, it also becomes very important. Also, it's even more important. Let's put it that way. Okay, so then we talk about, okay, right. Okay, so in talking about life, birth and death, basically, we describe birth as what? The attachment of the true self versus the false self. Okay, and what that means is the fact that we're born with a physical self, which is the body. Okay, and we call that the false self. Okay, then we also are born with what the Buddha had mentioned about a Buddha nature. Okay, and that we basically call as a true self. Okay, so therefore, birth is basically an attachment of the false self or the physical self to that spiritual self. Okay, and so therefore, the death basically is the opposite of that, which is what? The separation of the false self and the true self. Essentially, after all, in the false self, basically, it's a physical body, and therefore what? As in death, people say, from dust we become dust. Okay, but for the true self, however, the spirit never dies. Okay, our nature never dies. Okay, so therefore, it is the true aspect of our self. Okay. Then, of course, the line talks about the fact that yes, beginning is not the end. The birth is not the beginning, and death is not the end. Of course, after all, are we talking about reincarnation? Yes, of course. Birth is not the beginning, and death is not the ending. Only because of the fact that yes, the soul or spirit does not die. Okay. What we mean by this, the spirit is really the attachment of the true, that true aspect. Okay, and the separation is separation of the true. So therefore, that is what we mean by the soul or spirit never dies, if you will. Okay. Now, of course, when we talk about or Buddha, when he talks about or reincarnation, really basically there are what he describes as 6 different paths of reincarnation. Okay, and I won't go into the detailed explanation of that, but rather it talks about spiritual or temporary heaven or celestial heaven. Celestial or temporary heaven, that's when one goes into a still temporary place, but that's very much like heaven. Okay, let's put it that way. And the second is, of course, one can also reincarnate as a human being, a normal human being. It could be just you and I, an average Joe or whatever. Okay, or Joe, Mary, average Mary or whatever. Okay, then the third is when the spirit, that spirit self, okay, comes reincarnates as what's called an asura. Okay, that's basically like I would basically call it like a demigod. Okay, and so therefore, demigod, it's still a spirit, but it has certain aspects of that spirit that makes him a demigod. It's not really a true Buddha. Let's put it that way. Okay, then of course the fourth category is, of course, that of a physical animal. Okay, so whatever, it could be any kind of animal, etc. And I think the animal category also includes like insects, blah, 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 etc. Okay, so from the small to big, etc. Okay, and basically these, I'll call animals, does not have the ability to, of course, like first receive a blessing or of the Tao, or whatever, because only humans can. Only humans can do that. Okay, and then of course the fifth and sixth category is more likely more of a abstract aspect, and one is basically a hungry ghost. Okay, and it's a spirit that has desires of wanting to consume something, but of course, they are unable to do that. Okay, so, and the third is, of course, being punished in hell. Okay, now again, I don't want to go into detail about that, but just to let you know the fact that yes, there are certain paths of reincarnation, so that if we do not or are not able to really attain that enlightenment or that that type of that Buddhahood or whatever, then we go through this life and this birth and death experience. Okay, and then the last thing I really want to talk about is really the fact that you know, the fact that it comes down to really the value of life that we basically respect. Okay, because after all, the question comes down to is how can we be remembered in this world? Okay, there's basically three. It'll be I look at it in like three categories, so to speak: unknown and making no contributions in their lives. Okay, I don't want to elaborate about this aspect, only because of the fact that yes, most people, let's put it that way, most people are in this category, unfortunately. Okay, and then of course we have the second, which is those that are locally remembered and respected. Okay, now even though in the first category, they are unknown and all that stuff, but most of the time, basically, we also have parents, okay, and children, etc. And so therefore, at least we have some generational remembrance of the past, of our past, let's put that, our past ancestors, etc. Okay, so therefore, and that's the category that we talk about, that's talking about in this second category. Okay, and also the fact that there are also others that, for example, has become more known in the sense of like, okay, for example, everybody knows an Einstein, everybody knows about a Newton, so therefore these are people that basically are technically almost universally known, but not remembered, okay, so to speak. All right, and then of course the third category is of course universal, remembered and respected. Basically, when you talk about that, you're talking about essentially very few in numbers, because after all, they are what? The Buddhas, okay, or the saints, etc. Okay, these are the people that are eventually, known. But however, they are not known that well, of course, okay, because of the fact that depending on the culture that you live in, etc., then of course you have, you only know several, a few, very few, just as the Christian or the people in this life that are Christians, etc., they know about Jesus, God, etc. Okay, and then of course people who are Islamic knows about Allah, okay, and they respect, of course, Muhammad and etc., all that stuff. Okay, but yeah, but these are more, I guess, not necessarily universal, so to speak. Okay, because after all, a Buddhist does not think about Jesus or God or whatever, because after all, Buddhism looks at it a different way. Okay, so again, these for this category is really those that are universally remembered and respected, and basically those are the people who have attained enlightenment or Buddhahood. Okay, and so therefore, the conclusion really is the fact that when we receive the Tao, we receive an insight into life, only because of the fact that we are pointed. So receiving the Tao basically provides an insight into life only because of the fact that it's pointing out or reminding you, not really pointing out, but reminding you of the fact that you have a true nature. Okay, because when we normally receive the Tao, and the transmitter lights the lamp from the center lamp, lights the candle or the incense stick from the center lamp and points to you, and then he comes down and points to your particular location, your head. Okay, and basically that means the fact that your I guess your door is open, and so therefore your spiritual door is open, and so therefore you now have a way to return back to the absolute heaven as opposed to the temporary heaven. Okay, but the more important thing is the fact that you now understand the fact that you have a Buddha nature within you. It was always there. It was just not allowed to come out. Let's put it that way. Okay, that is why the door is open, so that you can will be able to return back. Okay, so, and the second thing is the fact that learning about the Tao brings us the uncertainties of life. That's very true. The whole idea is to change one's character and eventually destiny. So in order to learn to change one's destiny, it comes down to the fact it depends upon one to introspect or look at oneself internally to find out about the fact that how one do things. Okay, and therefore we then reflect upon, yes, how we do things, and that in turn can change our character and eventually our destiny. Okay, and the last thing to do is really the cultivation and practicing of Tao helps us to understand and harmonize with the ups and downs of life. Okay, of course, everyone in life has its ups and downs. Okay, and so therefore, how we practice the Tao and therefore and cultivate the Tao by attending classes or not, or not only in classes but rather reading about the Tao and all that stuff, basically allows us to create more, I guess, a pool of knowledge to be able to understand what is life, the importance of life. Okay, and so therefore it allows us to harmonize the ups and downs of life. Okay, and basically I want to conclude over here with the only point in the fact that when we attend these classes and all that stuff, it basically is trying to help you to progress in the Tao, okay, and also to be able to practice or cultivate the Tao, okay, because after all, the reason why we draw it out for like 5 years, so to speak, I think it's always been 5 years. It basically allows us to go from a very, I guess you could say, a poor understanding of the Tao, the true Tao, and eventually try to begin to acquire knowledge about the Tao, which is learning about the Tao and learning about the Tao, okay, and practicing the Tao, and therefore begin to accumulate the knowledge that we need to be able to really, hopefully, to be able to become enlightened and become a Buddha. Okay, so therefore I want to close the fact that, yeah, I want to give the those speakers and transmitters and lecturers that had provided some of this material for this class. And so therefore I want to thank all of you for listening. And unfortunately, I basically was not able to really communicate as well, only because of the fact that there are certain reasons for that. Okay, and I want to hope all of you to have a very fulfilling life and also a fulfilling cultivation of the practice of the Tao. Thank you very much. Should I go ahead and just make some mention about the fact that we are now celebrating the birthday of the 18th matriarch?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, okay, first of all, normally on a class day, a Friday class day, if it happens to be on a particular saint's birthday or, etc., we sort of like make a few, I would to make it brief, a brief, understanding of that saint's birthday. Okay, so today we on the, well, it's a solar, excuse me, the solar, well, we're we're experiencing this is this, no, it's the lunar, sorry, it should be lunar, right? The lunar birthday of for today, this the birthday of the matriarch. And so therefore, I guess I should, to say about the matriarch, it's wow, there's only a short time. Okay, basically, the matriarch was, I guess the whole idea I want to, the main emphasis I want to make is about the fact that the matriarch really I guess we would say she practiced compassion sort of like to the utmost in terms of helping her disciples as well as also humanity, only because of the fact that she basically, what she did was really a great deal of, I would say, gosh, I can only say it's about really compassion for, because after all, if you look at her life, okay, from she became a transmitter, and then got the mandate, and therefore later on got the mandate with the 18th patriarch and what she had done in her whole life, and also after she basically I guess escaped from mainland China to go to Taiwan, and therefore her life also was very difficult, so to speak, because after all, and frugal, not only frugal, only because of the fact that when she came to Taiwan, basically she was the government of Taiwan was very, I guess, enthusiastic about the Tao, let's put it that way. Okay, and so therefore a lot of her disciples was also, jailed, etc. Okay, and and so therefore she practiced her Tao, so to speak, by a well-known aspect of her practice was doing what's called the 10,000 prayers or 10,000 vows. Okay, and again, like I said, there's also a class about this particular matriarch, and so therefore I won't get into details about that. So the whole idea is to really understand the fact that the main thing is to really understand the fact that, yeah, the matriarch really, if you look at her life, you can really understand how she cultivated her Tao, in the fact she basically was very, very compassionate. Okay, and so therefore, hopefully, if you can have some time to know about or read about her life, then basically you will have that understanding. Let's put it that way, that understanding. And basically, that is now it's already have used up an hour. So therefore, I want to conclude that fact that, yes, I want to thank the grace of heaven and all the transmitters and lecturers or whatever, and everyone for listening to this class. And thank you again.